Okay, we're going to start talking about the importances here of our trees. You will have to know, like I said, for a test, you'll have to be able to identify the leaf when you see it. You'll need to talk about the characteristics that are in that leaf, and you'll also need to know something about it. All these things that are highlighted in your packet. So let's go over those. And maybe if I get rid of that, there we go. We can see a little bit better. The green ash is our first one, and we saw it on our walk today, so that was great. You see it has a pinnately compound leaf, and you can even see, look, pinnate venation right there. There's a vein going right up the middle. Okay, so what you need to know, it should be highlighted in your packet. These are hardy, fast-growing trees planted on the soil banks after strip mining, which is on my next slide. I'll show you what that looks like. And remember, we talked about it's really fast growing, which gives it the deep grooves in the bark. And notice they've got these little tiny helicopters. They're really skinny. They're not the same ones that a maple tree gives off with a big seed in it. These are real skinny, and we'll hopefully see them on our walks as well. Okay, so what else about the green ash? Tool handles, okay? This is it says in your notes, it's a hardy tree. Okay, well, you don't want your tool handle made out of soft wood and it's going to break very easily. So this is a tough wood. It also says oars, paddles, baseball bats. Okay, a lot of baseball bats. I got some facts for you. I'm just going to read them to you. The white ash, the sister here of the green ash, looks very similar. They make up 45% of all the wooden bats out there. And all of the companies, white ash comes from forests in Pennsylvania and New York. That's where the bats are coming from. And the tree has to be anywhere between 40 to 50 years old before they can harvest it. To make a bat, because it has to have the strength and flexibility that they need. But they are switching now more, instead of ash bats, they're switching to using yellow birch and maple. And maple is a softer wood, which is why if you see a lot of players using wooden bats, they break more often than they used to. So why are we moving away from the ash trees to make our bats? Oh, sorry. Guess you have to wait for the answer for the next slide. Forgot this one was in here. Okay, I wanted to show you, in case you didn't know what strip mining was all about. These pictures kind of show it, where they just really take everything off the ground. They leave nothing. So you look at these pictures, how devastating the ground is after strip mining. And if you don't want all this to erode even faster, you need to plant some trees that are going to be hardy and grow real fast. And that's why they choose ash trees to grow along these banks. Now, this is the reason we aren't using ash anymore to make our bats, or not as much, because this little itty bitty tiny green emerald ash borer beetle is wreaking havoc on our trees. Now, look at the penny here. This is how small we're talking. And in class, I have an example. I have one of these in a jar that a student brought back to me from the state fair. And so I can show you this. We'll just go over this. It's an invasive species, which means it's not native to our area and it causes harm. So it's originally from Asia. And if it's invasive, no natural predators are here to get this little guy. It was first discovered in 2002, hidden in a wooden pallet shipped to Michigan through the Great Lakes. And you can see here the spread of it confirmed emerald ash borer invasion, which means all of Illinois has been confirmed. Have you seen those purple boxes hanging from trees, maybe around town and stuff? Those purple boxes are trying to collect like these green emerald ash borers and different things. So they're trying to track it and see where it's going. What else? Okay. They eat the insides of the tree and leave them to die. It's very, very tragic. The females, first of all, the beetles first eat the leaves, so that's bad enough, okay? And then the female lays its eggs in the bark. And as you see, when the larvae come out, when the eggs hatch, they eat their way through the xylem and the phloem where all the water and the food are. So they're eating through the water and food tubes, which is going to kill the tree. So they really do eat it from the inside out. And what you're looking for is this shape. It's like a sideways or it's a D shape. Okay, if you turn it sideways, it's a D, and that's the exit hole, basically, of this larvae, or the entrance for the beetle to get in and lays its eggs underneath the bark. So that's what you're looking for on a green ash tree to see if it's infected with green emerald ash borers, and the tree will die 100%. It cannot live. There is absolutely no way. So we're spending lots and lots and lots of money to try to eradicate these things. My parents, they knew the green emerald ash borer was coming to our area. Gosh, I would say, well, obviously after 2002, but I mean, I'm thinking several years ago, probably 7 or 8 years ago at least. And they had 2 ash trees in their front yard, 2 huge ones. They cut them down. Not even knowing if it was infected or not. They cut them down because it will get infected. 100%, these things will get infected, and they didn't want it to get infected, and they don't know it, and then it would fall on the house. So lots and lots and lots of places, and I've got articles I would love to read to you if we have time at school, of places that are trying to get rid of this green emerald ash borer and how much money they've spent on it. In St. Louis, I don't know if you noticed, they replaced every tree down at the arch because of the green emerald ash borer. Okay. U.S. Department of Ag has already spent $200 million battling the beetles. This is over my slide. How do I get over? Well, I don't know. Maybe I can exit that out. Oh, no. Okay. What's it say? Okay. Estimate they will spend billions from national economy. And here's the big thing. Do not, at all costs, do not transport firewood, because these little guys could be inside the firewood. And if you're going on vacation and you don't want to take this from Illinois, and you see it's not infected out here, maybe in Idaho, and here you're going camping, and you don't want to take your own firewood with you in the trailer or whatever that you're hauling, because then you're just going to spread it. And in fact, you can't cross borders. They will take your wood from you. They will not let you bring in wood to another country due to this reason. So do not transport firewood. The control plan, see if this would work. They're thinking of releasing a parasitic stingless wasp from Asia, which is the natural predator. But, here we're introducing something else. What could go wrong there? Lots of issues. Let me see if I can put this back. Okay, full. Okay, next, black cherry. And you should be going kind of through your packet as you're going through this slideshow so you can see what's highlighted in your packet, what you really need to know. Black cherry, this is not like the cherries that you put on top of an ice cream sundae, okay? As you see, these are very little tiny looking type cherries, and you would definitely not eat the pits, okay, of them. You can eat them, but you have to pit them first, get the pits out. The pits in large amounts, if you eat them, they can cause cyanide poisoning, so let's not do that. If you look at your paper, it says a light reddish brown wood. It's a very, very pretty wood, which is why we make kitchen cabinets out of it. A lot of caskets, high-end caskets are made with this type of wood. So very, very dark looking wood. Reading on your sheet, a cough medicine or tea was prepared by Indians. Wine and jelly can be made from the fruit. So here is my picture. Wine and jelly can be made from the black cherry. It says that it yields a hydrocyanic acid, when steeped in warm water. That is a colorless, weak acid, highly poisonous liquid. In its aqueous solution of hydrogen cyanide was used in fumigating. So, yeah, kind of poisonous there. Next, your cottonwood. Another name for the cottonwood is whitewood. Very easy to see why it's called whitewood. It looks like it's snowing outside when this guy is in bloom. So cottonwood, whitewood, you can see on your list. It has a lot of other names to it too, but that's the only one I'm making you know. Okay, uses, as you see, pulpwood and fuel. Pulpwood is kind of where you smash things together, to make like particle board. It's just not good for building anything useful out of. So, we burn it. Doesn't have that great a use. Oh, what kind of base is this? Check that out. Hopefully you all said trinket. What is the edge? Correct. Wavy. What is the tip? Yes, acute. And the venation? Yes, it is pinnate. Oh, what's the form? A simple leaf. Okay, you did great. What you need to know about this tree? It is the largest and fastest growing tree in Illinois. It has the biggest grooves. It says here, if we were in class, by the way, we would get a tape measure out and we would measure this. Not General Sherman yet. I gotta tell you, the biggest one in Illinois is in Grundy County, 28 feet 6 inches circumference all the way around, 28 feet all the way around. And so we would measure that out in the classroom and you'd see how big 28 feet was. And then we'd measure the largest in the world. The largest in the world is General Sherman at, actually, the largest tree in the world is General Sherman, but he doesn't have the largest circumference. When you take his height and circumference, then he's the biggest. And this is out in California. General Grant, love the name, General Grant is actually the largest as circumference. And if the one in Grundy County is big at 28 feet around, General Grant is 107.5 feet all the way around. And if we were to measure this out in our classroom and I would spread this all the way out, the tape measure is only 100 feet. And this is 107 feet. It would make a circle that goes from every corner in our room. So just picture our classroom. A circle goes all the way around. And then when we do that, we're still short. About 7 feet. So when you go all the way around our room in a circle, it's about 100 feet. So just imagine a tree as big as our classroom, the whole base of it. That's how big these guys can get. Absolutely fascinating trees, but they're really messy if you have one in your yard. Can't miss it. Okay, flowering dogwood. We saw this today. It's an ornamental tree. Look how pretty it is. You can get white, you can get pink. We already talked about the fact that the Indians used the twigs to clean their teeth because look how tiny they are, and that it was an indication. It told them when to plant in the spring when they saw these blossoms. And I wanted to show you that very pretty symmetrical venation. It's got pinnate venation, but these side veins are really symmetrical and kind of fan going upwards. So it makes a really pretty leaf. And it looks very pretty in the fall as well. Something else about them that I forgot to mention when we were out on our walks, we get red dye from the roots. So a genius kid from last year, as a study strategy to remind us that the flowering dogwood gives us red because we have two other trees. One's going to give us yellow dye. One's going to give us black dye. And we didn't want to mix it up. We don't want to think black cherry with red dye. So they thought of Clifford, the big red dog. Dogwood, he's red. So the dogwood gives us a red dye. That was a genius study strategy. Love it. Okay, last two. that we're going to do today is the American elm versus the slippery elm. Now, the American elm has a very smooth feel to it, very smooth surface, where the slippery elm is very rough. So it's just the opposite of the word. Why they do that, I don't know. Slippery elm is rough. American elm is smooth. And you can see its seeds. They're very itsy bitsy tiny little things. Okay. The American elm is the one getting hit by Dutch elm disease. It's caused by a fungus. And it says it's, I guess I could just read this. Where elms are closely spaced, the Dutch elm disease fungus may move down a row of trees through grafted roots. So removing trees without breaking root grafts may not keep the fungus from moving into adjacent trees. There we go. Couldn't read that with this down here. The little guy that's responsible for carrying this fungus along, this is the bark beetle. On your sheet, it says Dutch elm disease caused by a fungus introduced accidentally about 1930 and spread by European and native elm bark beetle. So this is a bark beetle, and you can see they're really tiny compared to the size of a pencil. And so this bark beetle introduced the Dutch elm disease, which is a fungus. And because, like I said, it can get in the roots, just because you remove one tree doesn't mean all these others are safe. They can die as well. So you're not going to find as many American elms when you're out there looking as you will slippery elms, because the Dutch elm disease has hit it hard. Slippery elm, I think it was on the last slide too. What type of base is that? This is awesome. Did you say asymmetrical? What kind of tip? Acute. What kind of edge? Can you tell? Maybe you can tell on this one a little bit better. It is doubly toothed. Both your elms are doubly toothed. Okay, so this one will have a rough feel to it. So it's exactly opposite as the word. Reading through, it says shipbuilding, farm implements, fence posts. That's why I put a fence here, to show you that's the type of wood they used. I put the sandpaper here to remind you the sandpaper goes with a slippery elm. Sandpaper, slippery elm, study strategy. It says these trees can easily be identified by removing a small bit of bark from the tip of a branch. If it feels slippery or slimy, you have the right tree. That's how it technically got its name, is due to that sliminess under the bark. It didn't get its name based on the leaf. So it is kind of it's confusing that way. What else here? The large brown buds covered with rust-colored hairs. So you can see those are huge buds on the tree with these hairs on it. Okay, on Wednesday, when I see you, make sure to tell me that you watched this whole thing, and I have a prize for you. You tell me that you watched it, you get a prize. You don't want to miss it. It's the best. Okay, if it's raining on Wednesday, we're going to have a quiz. Okay, your quiz is over all the characteristics, so make sure you study those. Your quiz is also over, just those notes that we had that we started the year with. Don't go all the way back to the importances of trees. We're just going back to, hey, a leaf is made up of two parts, a blade and a petiole. That's the start of your notes that you're studying for this quiz. And you're studying the first 6 leaves, everything about them. You do need to know the names. I doubt I give you a word bank. So know the first 6 and what they are. Okay. See you Wednesday.